Come on in and sit down. You cut the hardcore crew chewing the fat. You cut us shooting the shit. You cut us in the moment.
I wasn't going out for Mardi Gras, and apparently Rev Jake decided to comment, well, why don't you just go out for a po' boy?
That sounds like a pretty good... I still say that sounds like a pretty good idea.
Well, come on, Billy. Don't you want to get your beads?
Oh, fuck it.
I'll take that as a no. I mean, I can always show you Miss Jack Shit's beads.
Oh, Lord.
Well, as we have already horrified Billy, we are in the moment, and let's get down to wrestling, guys. I'd like to introduce the panel. I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head. We have the WrestleGamer from WGSTV. He's Billy Boudreaux. Billy, how we doing?
I see cheetahs. The cheetahs!
As Billy is on location, freaked out on Walmart somewhere. But let's move on. We have the incomparable Lance Moss from Lance Moss TV. Lance, how we doing?
Pretty good, trying to stay warm in this icy weather.
You got icy weather? Believe me, I'm in 10 feet of snow. It makes Hoth look like a desert.
Yeah.
It's 40 degrees here in Louisiana.
You suck.
Yeah, you suck too, Billy. Believe me, you suck. And of course, last and certainly not least, we have James from the Big Easy. James, how we doing?
You know, I would be downtown seeing women flash their boobs for beads, but eh.
You flashed yours too much.
I'd rather keep my shirt on in 30-degree weather. Thank you.
Let's get down to what we're here for. We knew that last week we heard all about Seth Rollins showing his junk over the internet. Well, of course it was released, but it wasn't by his choice. But either way, it's out. And now, unfortunately, the big question is he going to get what's called the Dolph Ziggler treatment? And what people are wondering what that means is sooner or later, is this going to cost his career over time? Now, do I think it's going to happen immediately? No. I think after WrestleMania, I was talking with Joe from the CWA, and he pretty much agrees with me that after the WrestleMania, after things kind of quiet down, they're going to start giving him what's a jobber status. He's going to start jobbing out very, very slowly. And he's going to just get his ass kicked for quite some time and saying, you know what, this is the price you're going to have to pay. If you remember several months back when I said by the Dolph Ziggler treatment, Dolph Ziggler was world champion. And then he started mouthing off. And, well, he lost that title from an injury, supposedly. But when he came back...
Well, if I can interrupt you just for a second... When it pertains to the Dolph Ziggler treatment, the reason why he was punished for that is because it was something that he himself, Dolph Ziggler, did.
Exactly.
The whole situation with Seth Rollins, that was not his accord. He had nothing to do with it. It was his supposedly better half, and trust me, I've seen a picture of her. It is his better half. Did to his Twitter account, and if anything, and I think she's employed by WWE, and if rumors are true that she is the one who's really responsible for doing it, then she needs to be the one who gets reprimanded, who gets punished for it, and not Seth Rollins.
It's okay, and that's a very fair point, but you have to understand the fact is that he should have not put those risky pictures on his phone in that risky situation. You have to think about that for a minute, Billy. He is a professional. He is a celebrity where he's around millions and millions of fans. So you cannot be doing that kind of stuff. Whether you agree with that or disagree with it, whether he had any plans for that to get out or not, you have to think about that shit like that, whether that's going to happen. And obviously, it got out. And now it's
so that everybody else's celebrity nude photos in 2014.
Well, we're not talking about other celebrity nude photos. This is him, and now this is his career that's on the line. Right now for 2015, what are you going to remember? The Seth Rollins selfie pic. James, what do you think about this?
Really, what I believe is that he is going to go scot-free because I feel like, he's the top heel in WWE right now.
No doubt.
So, really, it's that who else would you have as top heel if, they decide to punish Seth Rollins? And the fact that he holds Money in the Bank. So, the only thing I would see out of it is that he cashes in Money in the Bank and loses.
And that's a very valid point. And like I said, we've seen big names, be some of the top guys, and for one reason or another, go all the way down to almost nothing.
There's another aspect to it that we're not thinking of, that the punishment might have not be as severe as we're all making it out to be. For all we know, they possibly could have just fined him a certain amount of money, and he paid it under the books behind the stage where everybody can't see.
And that is another point. Lance, do you think that they just fined him, or do you see them giving him a much more severe punishment? What's your thoughts?
Well, this is how I kind of see it. I see both your guys' points, but I think nowadays wrestlers have to sign a morality clause in their contract, which states that these pictures don't exist. So, punishment-wise, do I see him jobbing? Highly unlikely, in my opinion. I see either a unsuccessful cash-in or an extremely short title run as punishment.
Well, what I heard, going to that morality thing, I heard of a morality clause stating that if something like that were to happen, then they will be immediately terminated.
He's too big to terminate right now.
And I agree. I don't think he's going to get fired over this, but like I said, I think is maybe after WrestleMania, after everything's quieted down, maybe after his Money in the Bank attempt, whether he passes or fails, that's where things kind of start to go downhill for him. Let's look at The Miz. Miz was WWE champion. He beat John Cena at WrestleMania. Look where he's at now. I mean, we can see wrestlers who has been at the very top, and now they're low to mid cards. So it's not beyond reason for these wrestlers to move on, to be at the very top and then be at the very bottom. So I hope that really doesn't happen, because I'm going to tell you, I've said it before and I've said it again, Seth Rollins is a phenomenal wrestler. He's got phenomenal mic skills. He has all the hallmarks to be one of the best in the WWE. So hopefully...
when he says he's the future, it's not just another moniker.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. This stupid little mistake that he made, should he really be held accountable completely that kills his career? No. Is the WWE going to maybe give him a little bit of a punishment? Possibly. It's one of those things we just kind of have to wait and see. But I think we've covered all the little different bases. And I think, we've kind of joked about it. We kind of ribbed him enough. And I think we should just kind of move on.
My eyes have bled enough.
I believe they have. Moving on, let's talk about Samoa Joe leaving the TNA. Samoa Joe did announce on Twitter today that he's left the company. PWI Insider reported that the departure was legitimate and the split was described as amicable. TNA John Gorabuk, I still can't pronounce his name properly, on expiration of Samoa Joe's contract, and TNA Joe agreed to part ways. Joe will always be a member of our family, and we wish him the best. This is what Joe tweeted. I've decided to part ways with Impact Wrestling. My very best of moving forward with the company, and my eternal thanks to all the fans. Lance, we've been seeing TNA, even though since the move we've been saying that this is, we've seen a lot of TNA originals, and this is yet another TNA original. Is this another big loss for TNA, or is this just TNA's just still kind of recovering from all the problems from Spike?
It's definitely a big loss. I mean, during the foundation of TNA, what were we all hearing? Joe's gonna kill you, Joe's gonna kill you, Joe's gonna kill you. But then again, we also know that in the past they have had contract issues between TNA and the front office and Samoa Joe as well. Honestly, could I see him returning? Yes. Do I see him running the Indies for a year or two? Yes. I think it's just a matter of time before we see Joe back in TNA, because I just don't see him in WWE.
All right, fair point. James, what's your thoughts about Samoa Joe leaving TNA, and where do you possibly see him heading from here?
Well, really, it is a big loss because he is one of the foundation of TNA. Even though he wasn't original, but he was one of the main aspects of the X Division, and when he had that long winning streak there, and becoming the world champion and whatnot. So, I agree with Lance. I see him running the Indies for the while. He's not gonna be in WWE. I think he noted that he's not gonna be in WWE. Do you think? I think WWE might do a play for him, maybe. But as I say, not WWE. He may return sooner or later. He would turn later to TNA.
I have to agree with the guys, Billy, that WWE for Samoa Joe is probably not the right fit for him. Maybe if he went to Lucha Underground or ROH, what would you think?
Well, I have to disagree to a certain point. And why I say that? Simply for three little letters that everyone seems to be associating with being an underrated program, but seems to be currently, and I've called the saving grace of WWE for months and months. And those three little letters are NXT. NXT is the breeding ground of great stars. And Samoa Joe right now would be a perfect addition to that brand. And Samoa Joe, they could work on him. And when people look at WWE, they look at it as the big time. It's the majors. It's the World Wrestling Entertainment. That's where a lot of guys go to not only make a lot of money, but to be known as great stars. We know Samoa Joe has the talent. We know Samoa Joe has the ability. And I think right now, if WWE makes a play for him, they need to make a play for him for NXT, which seems to be, like I said, right now, the better brand out of the whole company.
I have to disagree with you because of one reason: his age.
What's that?
Yeah, you know what,
He's
Billy?
35.
That is a very fair
Look
point.
at Kevin Steen and Kevin Owens. He's in that same age bracket, and he's in NXT right now. He's the NXT champion. I don't think age should be a factor about it.
All right. I didn't really look at it that way. I just saw the age, and I always thought that WWE wanted to go for younger guys.
14 years in the Indies before he made it to the WWE and NXT. He is not a spring chicken, and neither is Samoa Joe. But that doesn't take away from the fact that they're both extremely talented, and I think Samoa Joe would be a perfect fit for that brand.
Maybe we could see Joe over in the WWE, and maybe that's why he wanted to head over there. Maybe he's figured that the NXT was that possibility. It's something to think.
The cheetah from Far Cry 4, they have found me, and I unfortunately must go. But it's great to be on the show again. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. The WrestleGamer from WGSTV, guys. Go get over there and subscribe.
Can I say something about that Samoa Joe? I feel like, NXT is a great product, but at the same time, I think there's a difference between Kevin Steen is doing the work and how Samoa Joe does it. And I feel like if Samoa Joe goes somewhere, he's got to return back to Ring of Honor.
Yes, definitely. Either that, Ring of Honor, Japan, something like that.
Because look at AJ Styles. When he left TNA, where he went to Japan and Ring of Honor, he returned back to where he was known.
And that's, again, it's something that I think he's going to go where the money is. And if WWE offers him a contract, he probably could very well show up there. We don't know what's in store for Joe. Only Joe knows what's in store for Joe. But let's move on to Ric Flair. Now, Ric Flair obviously wants to be on TV even more. We saw him on TV last night, and he wasn't completely drunk. Looked like he had maybe one or two drinks.
Yeah.
He spoke with Burton Mail about his status with the WWE, and he thinks he should be used more often. This is what he had to say. I appear on WWE programming about 8 or 9 times a year now, and I think I could be used more often, and I think management can use me a lot more. But I think the others have to follow me and have to consider me as well. I can be very tough act to follow, and I still can be active and for many years to come. But they also have to take into the account the other superstars at the same time. So, James, it seems to me that Ric Flair just doesn't want to use that one word, retirement.
And you're right, really. It's that, the fact is that, he always wants to be in the spotlight. If it's not him, he wants to at least get it for his daughter that's currently in NXT, Charlotte. So, really, I feel like he just wants the attention. He just wants the money. At least he's not wrestling. That's all I'm going to give him. But I don't think you need a lot of flair.
I don't think it's even the money anymore, Lance, as James speculated. I think it's more of like the spotlight.
Exactly.
Wrestlers love the spotlight. As they get older and they live for that spotlight, and they just can't get enough of it, especially in their older years. And I think he's sucking on it a little too much.
Exactly, because, I mean, certain guys know how to let the spotlight go. Some of them, certain guys come in, get a little spotlight, then go back home. Like, HBK around this time of year comes back, gets a little spotlight, then goes back home. Hulk Hogan and Nature Boy Ric Flair don't know when to step out of the spotlight. Like, the one thing I heard him say that kind of concerns me, what does he mean by he can still be active? Because I hope it don't mean he can still go.
No, I think what he means by active, and I think he means by doing what he did last night on Raw, is come out, just, do his little speech, do his little promo, maybe show up with his daughter Charlotte, that type of stuff. He wants to be more of a manager, more promos. And if he even thought about trying to do a match, he's crazy.
Well, we all know Nature's crazier than
Okay, yeah, you got me there.
But I did have an idea of how he could still be a part of the company in a role that we desperately need more, because some of these guys just can't talk worth shit. If he can make it not all about the Nature Boy, but about bring him in as a manager and have it not be all about the Nature Boy. I don't know if he can do that, but if he can use his ability on the mic to bring somebody else up, oh my God.
The problem with that, though, is Nate, unfortunately, can't stay sober enough.
Very true.
And secondly, he can't be, like you said, he cannot be more about Nate. For him, it's always about him.
Yeah.
And I think that would be too much. It wouldn't work.
But imagine these two guys going at it on the mic. Heyman and Flair. Oh my God. It'd be awesome, but I don't think it ever happened.
No, I don't even think it would be awesome. It would be just too much ego for
Didn't they do
show.
that at the 2012 Slammies when CM Punk was doing the whole thing?
If they did, I don't remember, and I probably just blocked it out. Because, again, you have too much ego there. And don't get me wrong, they're both phenomenal on the mic. They're both brilliant for what they've done. But, again, when you put that much together, it's like you want one or the other. You don't want both. It just kind of kills it. But let's move on. Apparently, Cesaro's Twitter account was hacked. Now, we've been hearing this a lot, how people's Twitter accounts have been hacked. No, he wasn't. He didn't have any nude photos this time, but apparently he had a lot of negative things to say, or his accounts had a lot of negative things to say about the WWE and about how he's not getting pushed. Because everybody start pushing, using the hashtag push Cesaro trending. This company's a piece of shit. I just found out today I'll never get a major title. Even the Rosebuds get more TV time than me, and the tweets go on and on about all the negative stuff that really had to say about the WWE and how Cesaro's not getting over and over and over. Now, if you ever listen to Vince Russo had said before about Chyna's account that somebody had manned her account and was saying other things like Chyna should get into the Hall of Fame, as when they induct her, they should induct her under DX. And he even knew straight off that, give me a break, this is not Chyna. Chyna didn't say that shit. And when he spoke with Chyna had someone manning her account. And he said straight off, put it to rest, everybody, nobody hacks your account. It's just simple as that. If you want to ask me, I'm guessing that it's just one of three things. Either one, Cesaro did this himself out of frustration. Two, somebody was manning Cesaro's account. Or three, Cesaro knew somebody close to Cesaro had his password, and they went in and they posted all this stuff. Either way, it was going to kill Cesaro's career. My guess is that the WWE probably knows somebody was manning his account. Lance, your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's somebody close to him knows the account. Kind of like what happened with Seth and his tug toner. And yes, that is a product placement. But yeah, if he did it, I mean, let's face it, he knows 7 languages. He's not a stupid guy, so he's not stupid enough to kill his own career.
Yeah. And I don't think he would, if he'd have problems with the WWE and if he wanted out of his contract, he would not go that way about it. James, your thoughts?
Really, I have like a mixed bag just thinking of what you have just said, because I feel like, somebody hacked into the account, but I think somebody got the password that he knows. Somebody got the password and did all that. Because I believe Cesaro has nothing to do with it, because if he had something to do with it, his ass was fired on Monday, if that was him. So I think it was just somebody finding the account password that he knows, got the password, and just did on it.
I'm more inclined to believe the middle one that I've talked, the second one, as I said, that somebody was manning his account.
I feel like if somebody manned the account, his ass would be fired by now, because
it probably will be. And again, usually people who man the accounts are marks, are fans just like us, and somehow they get the job. I mean, I guess, again, I've heard other times when, the wrestling fans usually kind of go overboard and they forget the fact that it's a job. So that's just my thoughts. I don't think Cesaro did this himself at all. No matter how pissed off Cesaro is, no matter how hateful Cesaro, he's not going to post all this shit. You don't post stuff like that just to get the attention, even if you delete it 5 minutes later, because all it would do would get the WWE pissed at you and get you further down the totem pole. It's just that simple. That's my thoughts. Let's move on. There's been some rumors that Vince Russo has been working with Lucha Underground, because obviously, if you watched any of his video blogs, he highly endorses Lucha Underground. He's actually gone to several of their shows, and, so a lot of people have been thinking, oh, wow, is Vince Russo going to be going to Lucha Underground? And he's emphatically denied working with them, and he just said straight out, Lucha Underground executive producer Eric Van Wangman, that's how I pronounce it, excuse me again, my pronunciations are suck, but took to Twitter tonight denying rumors that he is pushing for the company to work with Vince Russo. The rumor popped online for the most recent tapings included the Russo Isque segments, including mask versus mask segments that took place virtually with no build-up. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big Russo mark, I'm not even a big Russo fan, but the fact that he could go to Lucha Underground, I don't think he is. I think he's too busy building his own product, which is now called The Brand, which I don't even think it's worth it. It's $5.95, guys. I liked when it was a free account, the free page, and I was actually going there for a lot, because I liked a lot of his blogs. And I think he has a lot to give to the wrestling industry. But when he started forcing people to pay and make people pay for it, it's just not worth it. That's just me. And I'm my minority. I know a lot of other people who have subscribed for it. You can go there and check it out and see if you'd like to. It's pyroandballyhoo.com, and check it out. If you think it's worth $6, by all means. But for me, it's just not worth the $6. James, what's your thoughts?
Really, I've seen a couple of Lucha Underground episodes, and I think it's best as is. I don't think you need a Vince Russo to run it, because, I mean, yeah, he has that creative mind, but I just don't feel like they should go away from what they already have right now, because really, I think if you want to hire Vince Russo, they do it if it's desperation, but I don't think, that's what I'm going to say.
Well, Lance, Vince Russo's been in WWE, he's been in WCW, and he's been in TNA. And, with all due respect to the man, he's really not succeeded. I mean, he's succeeded. I can't say he's failed. Because a man, despite what a lot of people think, you go into those careers, he's had a great career. But, would Lucha Underground want him? That's the question.
Well, about that, one of those companies went under. One of those companies is not in that good a shape right now, and one of those companies is the biggest in the world. So his track record ain't that great.
But, and there it is, and a lot of people really are holding all that on Russo's head, and you really can't.
If he wrote the creative.
He's 1 for 3.
But you know what, though, that's the thing. He's even said straight out, when he was with the Attitude Era, he even said straight out, many times, you know what, that was not me. I was one of the creative writers, not the creative writer. When he went over to WCW, WCW had its own problems, a lot of problems, and he was just there to try to, WCW said, oh, hey, let's grab him, and, we can start making, WWE storylines. And the problem was they just took his ideas and said, okay, fine, write for us. You can write whatever you want. And they just took him off the hook.
Yeah.
Where when he was with WWE, he was under the control of Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon is saying, yeah, I like this, I don't like this, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
I don't really know the whole story about TNA, and that is a lot of things that people don't think about. So again, I do not really hold him completely liable. A lot of people say, oh, he fucked up, he can't do this, and I completely disagree with him because I do believe he does have a great mind for creativity. It's just when it's controlled by a greater mind.
As long as he has somebody to answer to.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't see that.
Yeah, that's really the difference between a WCW, WWE, and TNA. WWE, you're always under McMahon control, so if you mess up with McMahon, then you're kind of fucked.
I wouldn't even say fucked. They just, hey, you make a mistake, and they say, okay, fine, they're going to fix it, they're going to move on. But with TNA, I think TNA was going to make the same mistake as WCW. It's like, okay, listen, we have problems, come fix it for us, because, Dixie Carter, unfortunately, she's a mark, and all she does is look at all the problems and say, okay, hey, come fix our problems for us, because she can't even fix her own problems.
Exactly, and that's why I was going to go with TNA, is that I don't believe Dixie Carter has the right, mindset to run that company as a regular person, like a McMahon.
Absolutely, and Joe has said it more times, hundreds of times when he's on here. He has nothing good to say about TNA. Well, no, it's more the management he has nothing good to say about. The wrestlers, we've always agreed that the wrestlers are phenomenal. It's just the management that sucks. But you know what, guys? I think we're going to wrap it up here, and we want to know what your opinions are, guys. What do you think about Seth Rollins? Do you think he's going to get what we call the Dolph Ziggler treatment, or do you think the WWE is just going to find him and move on? What do you think about Samoa Joe? Do you think he's going to go to the WWE, or do you think he's going to go to the Indies? Put your comments in the comment section below. Make sure you follow us over at facebook.com/hardcorewrestlingradio. And if you will listen to any more of our shows, check us out at YouTube, Dailymotion, and SoundCloud.com. Just look for us under HWR Show. James, where can everyone find you at?
You can find me on twitch.tv/fatboy504. I do my PS4 gameplay. And also you can find me on youtube.com/JTD70129, where I just do random crap. I'm going to do random crap about Mardi Gras. All right.
All right. You need to get some more boobs so we can get some more raw beef.
I need to go Bourbon Street right now.
All right, there you go. We have the incomparable Lance Moss. You can find him over at youtube.com/LanceMossTV. Lance, what do you got going on?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck organization videos, musical equipment reviews, some rants, and some archives of controversy and scandals. Also, check me out on Twitter. Just search Lance Moss TV.
All right. Well, for everyone here, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.
When did Lance ever get a Twitter?
Thank you for listening to this edition of In the Moment. Make sure you follow us at any one of our locations, whether it's YouTube, Dailymotion, and now SoundCloud.com under the name HWR Show. Until the next time, this is your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you.